Numbers, statistics, we can't go anywhere without seeing them implemented in like news or news feed or news articles. It's amazing how much data we can actually collect nowadays. Just for example, this is how many times a boat somewhere in the waters around the world accidentally catches a shark. This is how many times a plane somewhere in the world is taking off right now. And this, someone has just bought a pair of shoes in Arizona. So let's put that in another perspective. This is how many babies are being born in the world right now. On average, this is about how many people are dying across the world. And this, ever so slowly, someone is converting to Christianity right now. All this is happening at a breakneck pace. By the time I finish this sentence, 15 people have just been born. By the time I finish this sentence, about 14 to 15 people have just died. And this one, ever so slowly, is how many people are actually accepting Jesus in their life right now. The world is just moving at a breakneck pace, like without us doing anything. I was in a discussion about the Western philosopher Nietzsche, and he was saying that by focusing on the afterlife or the life after this, we rob the here and now, the life that we're given. But as Christians, it's the opposite effect. We see the urgency of having to reach out to people, to reach out to their hearts, to connect to people, just with how fast everything is moving. And I just think whenever we go on state rallies or international motorcycle meetings, I always enjoy seeing those videos they show at the end. Usually at the end of the day, everyone's kind of tired at that point. But I enjoy watching the videos because it kind of gives that same data to say for every 103 seconds, we reach out to someone about Christ. And that's kind of uplifting just compared to all the other news that we receive nowadays about shootings at schools or Waffle Houses or churches. Like, those people don't wake up in the morning thinking that would be their last day. It just happens with no one but God knowing. It's like James, and as Christians, we have to take that with urgency. We have to recognize how short, how delicate life is. James 1:22 calls us to be doers of the word, not just hearers. And how many verses in the Bible actually call us to action like that? Mark 16:15 says, go out and proclaim the gospel. Hebrews 10:24 through 25. Let us encourage one another on toward love and good deeds, not stopping to meet one another as some are in the habit of doing, and all the more as the day approaches. For John 15:16, I think is just assurance that we didn't choose this life, but God chose us, and we have to use that life very carefully. Just during this time, how much time do I waste, like, just on YouTube or playing on my phone or getting into arguments with other people? I feel like I just don't use that time wisely when I have to imagine that God wants us to reach out to people. He wants us to reach out to different hearts, different lives, different people. And I just can't waste that time thinking of all the differences between us But just imagine that we all live, we all die the same, and we should all love one another. It's really easy to unload hate onto more hate. When you feel slighted, it's easy to want that revenge, but the only thing that breaks that cycle is the love that God gives us, and we really can't waste that time just hating one another, piling on. We have to add love. We have to move the kingdom forward and just have that assurance that God chose us as ambassadors of this world. That, in the wise words of Kansas, all we are is dust in the wind. We have to use that small amount of time so wisely. But we have to actually go out there and do it. Only God knows, like, how much time we have on this life, but we have to make it count. And that's all I have to say.